Hello everyone, welcome back to more for the 2024 Stone Burner Open for Dune Imperium Uprising. I'm your host and commentator, the BlackShadow, and it is time for the last of the semi-final matches. Semi-final B specifically. We have got just one spot remaining in the grand final to be played on June the 23rd. A slightly revised date from when it was originally planned, but that's the way it goes occasionally. Anyways, this should prove to be a pretty close game, I imagine, coming into this, as we feature Guevara, Alphanova, Dinosaur, and Terralord. And just before I get into like the specifics for the players and like their route to the semi-final, yeah, that's the main thing I'm taking into this game. I think this is going to be an incredibly close match. I'm not even sure who's going to win this. It's really, really tight. Everyone's got a good spot to feel that they can get through to the grand final here, but I think it's going to be a very close match all the way. Let's have a look at the players. So first up, let's have a look at Guevara, who finished second place in Group H. Pretty good group overall for him, truthfully. Losing ultimately to Badger, winner of the second North Carolina Invitational, but they indeed crashed out of the competition early, and they would have liked, leaving Che here in the semis. 2 wins out of 4, 16 points overall, pretty decent tally. Playing a whole variety of different sets of leaders as well. Some battle with Gurney, some of Irelan in there. Before winning the quarterfinals, playing as Steban Tuek, which is it's always notable to see Esteban Tuek win. Not that he's a weak leader or anything like that, but obviously not easy to play given the fact that he runs the game without a diplomacy. So you're putting yourself at an initial disadvantage to hope to kind of get away from it late game. But managing to play pretty well there, secure a spot into the semi-final. Next up, we have Alphanova, who also finished second place, this time in Group T. Only 15 points to his name at the end of the group stages. 12 of those coming from the 2 wins, suggesting that Alpha maybe has perhaps a touch of a knack of either winning games very, very thoroughly or not doing too well in them. And that is something that perhaps is not ideal for a tournament style, but, it's a small sample size of games. Interesting to note that he does play generally a very aggressive battle style, but can mix up occasionally. There's even a win here match in his Week 4 game, playing as Amber of all players, and winning pretty thoroughly as well against Chess, BYG, and Burnham Down. He then just about squeaked through quarterfinal B, as you can see here. A three-way points tie, winning it narrowly on Spice tiebreak and squeaking his way through to the semi-finals, which I think is a really good result for him. He has featured as well at the North Carolina Invitational events, and is definitely eager to try and make, I believe, his first tournament final. He's yet to do so. Definitely a real chance here, but maybe that slight bit of inconsistency in the results, suggesting that it might not be quite as easy as he'd like, but still, definitely a good chance here. Next up, we have the Dinosaur, another alumni of the North Carolina Invitationals. Dino came second place in Group P, though no shame coming second to Pookie, who was the only player in the entire competition who went 4 out of 4 in the group stages, though they crashed out in the quarterfinals to Meowsonray. Dinosaur also had a very inconsistent group stage, having to leave it late to pick up the points in this one with 2 victories as Princess Irelan, but he played his first 2 games as Lady Jessica, and neither of them went very well, crushing defeats in both of them, but managing to just about squeak his way through to the guaranteed quarterfinals as no one else is able to pick up enough points to challenge. A tight victory in quarterfinal G against a highly competitive group featuring Badger and Burnham Down, as well as Bro JJ, meaning that they've made our way through to a semi-final, which is definitely a good result, and I dare say, having met them in person, maybe that might have been their expectations to try and at least make the semis. But beyond here, it's never easy to make it through to the grand finals again. You have to win this match in order to get there, which is really tough to ask here, but definitely shown he's very apt to go through this very card-building, deck style, not really get involved in comments too much, let everyone else kind of take piece of each other and wait for the moment here. We'll have to see if that strategy is of use in this one. And last up, we have Terrasashar, or is it Terra's Ashar? I don't actually know. Who also finished second place as well in Group K, only narrowly losing out to Cherry J, but still securing automatic qualification with 2 wins from their 4 games as well, although a bit more consistent with the 16 victory points. After a somewhat underwhelming beginning of the competition with playing as Shaddam as well as Princess Irelan, it was back-to-back victories at the back end of the groups, playing as Gurney Halleck as well as Fade Ralphett, securing their way through to the quarterfinals in pretty decent fashion with a couple of very strong victories. before narrowly edging out Yoke, Kasparov, and a very rampant Ancient Slumber in quarterfinal and secure their way to the semi-finals. I'm pretty sure this is their first crack at one of our competitions, and yeah, to make a semi-final straight away is really, really good going. It's a lot better than I've managed in my attempts at this game, and I think they'll be over the moon to have made the semi-finals here. Making a grand final on your first competition would be incredible, and something that not many people have managed to achieve, but really, really tough competition in this one here. I might suggest that maybe they will feel they're a little bit of an underdog in this one. Che, Alpha, and Dinosaur, all veterans of the game here. Terra perhaps a little bit more of an unknown quantity in this one. And definitely the other three have played a whole variety of games against each other, so maybe that might give a chance to Terra to kind of slip under the radar on this one a little bit here. We'll have to see. This should be a good game. Alright, and so with the table getting themselves ready for the match here, I should probably let you know that this is a pre-recording of this game. It was played last night about 1:30 in the morning my time. Well, I'm happy to do some flexible working hours for you guys. It was a bit too late for me. So I got the game set up here, left the PC on just to record whatever happened. I don't know what happens. I've not seen the game, so I'm giving you my live thoughts and reactions here. So let's see what was on. Alright, so it seems that Terralord here is going to be first to play on the left seat here in blue, which means it will be Che Guevara to pick up first in yellow here. So let's have a look and see what we've got here in the opening bits and pieces. Opening up our contracts, we've got the immediate Solari and High Council rebate as well. This one is definitely very popular. The immediate money, especially for people trying to get hold of Swordmaster, that sort of thing. Maybe his occasional die for High Council sort of thing. This is a bit more mid-gamey for the High Council, we'll have to see. Now if we go down to the Imperium Rogues, I know I gave myself a short chance to have a look at these. Let's have a look what we got here. Couple of decent cards. So first Advisor can be very good. Effectively kind of a modified power play. Put a spy down on a faction. Send this over to that, and you get twice the bumps with the guard trashes. Revic is Row here, giving a random bump as well. Lots of bump stuff here. And then a bit of Fremen and Bene Gesserit synergy may keep it Watermaster and Tread in Darkness. Do you think Tread is a potentially decent card, but can be a bit difficult to act on sometimes? That's the way it goes. As for the leaders here, so look what we've got here. No Muad'Dib, which I'm sure will be of delight to some who've been perhaps saying there's been an awful lot of Muad'Dib in this tournament, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. Just, that kind of is what it is. Also missing Amber as well, who I don't think is going to get played a lot. So, not a ton of battle potential here. Fade and Gurney was likely to get picked, but then outside that, it's a little hard to know. Margot could be a good shout here. Irulan as well. Staban 2X kind of sitting out there as well. I don't know if Staban is a good idea here. Very, very risky. There's no consistent spy access, so you'd be kind of trying to, I don't know, maybe grab like a spy card. You probably have to reveal early anyways here. I don't know how much of an idea it's, or maybe you're just going to build up low persuasion first round, go for a fight if it's decent for you, and just hope a decent card comes off. I mean, you'd be really rolling with the punches there. Don't know how wise that would be. And lo and behold, Che Guevara, the Airman, takes the Barn 2Ek in 4th position. Wow. Okay. Guess he's here for a good time. Irulan taken in 3rd by Dinosaur. That seems, I'm totally okay with that. Wow, that is a bold pick. That is rolling dice. I don't feel that that's a great pick on the whole. This seems to be basically you're hoping to fluke into a decent card or two, and then your rain kind of gets you there. But I don't know. It seems pretty dangerous. Alpha going for Gurney, not a surprise. Very battle-heavy guy. So who does the Terralord go for here? Margot is an option. Fader Alpha is also okay here. There's a lot of sitting axis out there, so Margot seems probably pretty reasonable and be probably who I've been looking to pick here, I think, most of the time. Maybe like a Shaddam as well. What is Staban 2X's plan here? I mean, is he really going to sack off an action for, like, Subversive? What's he going to die for? I don't know. Anyways, here we go then. So the opening conflict is the Dagger Search. Again, it's pre-recording, so I can't highlight any of these for you, so I do apologize. I'll try and detail as much as possible here. It does match Irulan. It also does match Staban 2Ek here. Wow, this is actually the best conflict that could have come out here for Staban here. He might go for this. Double daggers in hand as well. He might go for it here. Margot goes immediately Fremkit, pulls double daggers for her side as well. Everyone's drawn at least kind of okay. Gurney's only got the one faction card. Does he go immediately for Desert Tactics? I suspect he will, and does. Doesn't match for him, though. He's going to probably trash the dagger. Does he get heavily involved here, or does he wait for a better fight? Looks like he's just going to limp it in here and just kind of take it easy. Knows there's 2 matches behind him. If you even go in, it's a pretty disastrous for Gurney. He's doing this more just to get hold of the worm access round 2. That's the only reason he's really making this move, and he probably should trash the dagger. Irulan's got faction as well. Might go immediately dutiful here. This is pretty popular for Irulan players to go immediately to dutiful service when like the money intrigue's out there, for example. Obviously, you want to get 2 bumps in order to get hold of your intrigue for that, which is definitely useful. So the Bantuet might win this pretty cheaply, because I don't think Irulan's going to get involved here with that hand. Margot can't really put in much on her. She flukes an intrigue at secrets, and Gurney's not interested. So the Bantuet might win this really cheap, which makes you wonder what he's going to go for here. He's got Seek Allies in his hand already, so he might as well commit himself to a faction that he's going to go for. Does he go early shipping? Does he go for deliver supplies and then just look to get it in with his... He's very reliant on getting his way to Arakeen, though, which is not that likely. You'd expect someone else to go there a lot of the time, but I don't know. That might not actually happen here. Kind of a weird one. I'll have to see. Anyways, Irulan just takes the cash. Bit of ping issue going on there. Hence, that's being a bit stuttery there. Hope that didn't persist throughout this video. Generally speaking, folks, it's their fault, not mine. So yeah, I think that's what Staban will do here. I assume he's going to go deliver supplies, and he's going to see if maybe there's a way for him to steal this battle here. Maybe even occasionally he might go like research station first round here, to look to get the dudes in. I could definitely see that potentially happening, and he might look to just charge for spice and go shipping early as Staban Tuek and use that to supplant his faction bumps. Not even worry about it too much. That might be his plan. Anyways, Margot does go secrets, picks up Imperium Politics. That is the Solari for a Emperor or Spacing bump. Very nice intrigue. As past BlackShadow, apparently looking to readjust the camera a little bit. Better for you guys. Gurney, I guess, is just gonna... Is he just going to accept contracts? Or is he going to go for the loose spice here? Does go for the loose spice. He does put in the extra 2 troops now. Figures he might as well make a stab for this. Obviously wanted to see what Margot's going to go for. No, decides against it. Bit of indecision. Prefer to, like, kind of, you know, make a decision and not, like... I don't make it... Try not to make a habit of, like, doing something and then going back on it on the table. That can create a bit of confusion. Also, it doesn't look... You know, it doesn't give the impression you're particularly certain what you're going to do here. So, Irulan could go for this. And maybe she's meant to go with it. The problem is she'd almost certainly... she's using a ring. She's going to trash the dagger, right? So if Margot's got double daggers and you put in 3 troops, that's pretty bad. It's totally possible she does. And in this case, obviously, she does have that, but Green doesn't know that. Or do you just go accept contract and wait? You got Reset Station High Council, though. I mean, neither of them are that great immediately. And with, like, you know, some decent cards out there at free cost, I think you're meant to just go Arakeen a lot here. But Subcontractor is instead. Gets Convincing. It's pretty good, actually. Gets up the 4 Persuasion. That's a pretty nice draw. Takes the Research Station Contract, which I'm not so sure about. And, yep. Once again, out goes the Dune Desert Planet. And that's just is what it is. Apparently, the new meta is to keep your daggers, kids. And, you know, beyond me. So, Staban could just blast away Arakeen here and put these 3 troops in and just win this. And I guess he's just going to charge shipping here. Why not? Kind of wild, this. Kind of wild. I'm curious to see where he's going to put his ring, though. Or put his spy. I guess he's going to put on Haga Basin. Would be my guess. I don't see him putting it on a faction specifically here. And there's no point going to the council because he's got no spice, so I assume it's going Haga Basin. most of the time here. And it is indeed. I'll allow him to pick up a loose spice if anyone else goes to there. Obviously with Alpha threatening worms later on. So Margot with the 2 daggers. Free persuasion, goes to make a keeper. Not interested in dangerous rhetoric. Wow, that's a bit of a surprise. Guess she figures that wants the more longer term game here. Free for Gurney, who's meant to take dangerous a lot of the time here. Looking at Watermaster though for worms and does go for that. Is Stabantua going to get dangerous rhetoric here or something? Oh, he can't afford it. Pretty wild this. Free for Irulan. Surely has to take dangerous rhetoric here. That wild bump is just so good. They definitely did trash the ring. They definitely trashed Dune. Could be quite a chatty game, this. Again, Alpha, Dino, and Che have played a lot here, so I expect there could be a lot of chat between the 3. I don't expect Terralord or Terrasasha to get involved in very much of it, but, you know, people might give some information out. People might try and lead players into certain beliefs as well. We'll have to see. But yes, the Barn will win it. I don't know if he buys anything here. I mean, he might as well get at least a prepare or something. If he's going for Smuggler's Harvester, then he's definitely looking to just jam shipping, by the looks of it. Takes a repair, might as well. But that is his faction access done. He has no more in his deck. So while he's going to win this opening conflict for pretty cheap, which is a great result for Staban here, alright, he might be able to get to, say, Hager Basin, and he might be able to ship once, then what? We'll have to see. Anyways, second round is Test or Loyalty. That is the Emperor Bump, Spy, and Cash. Everyone is going to be barreling into this here. Gurney will be getting fully involved. No shot. There shouldn't be a surprise here. He's only put the 1 troop. Shouldn't worry. They know he's got his ring. He's likely to just absolutely chuck it in here. Everyone wants the cash. What does Irulan do? Irulan might just hit dutiful service again here. The Arakeen water contract's out there. I could definitely see just doing that. Also nets an intrigue as well, which could be useful in this fight. It is a Thopter matching symbol. No one compare that right now. Margot picked up a contingency plan, by the way, off the last combat for 3 swords, which could be of some use here. I don't know what Irulan wants to do. I don't feel like she's going desert tactics a lot here. Could go deliver supplies, maybe. Threatening some research station. For the money and the spy. Put the spy up on the council, maybe. Do they ever go Hager Basin ahead of Staban? I also don't entirely hate that. You could do that with intentions of going espionage, although it looks like Margot's probably going to get there ahead of you, so that's not so great. But she did play both her faction cards, so she would have had to have top deck of diplomacy, which it turns out is exactly what Margot has done here, but you can't necessarily expect that. Very fortunate for Margot here, so I wouldn't blame Green for going Hager Basin here, grabbing the loose spice, and then looking to go like espionage or something. If you put in 2 troops, you're probably getting 3 Solari. But dutiful makes sense. Deliver supplies also makes a degree of sense, yeah. So threatening the research stations here. Putting Gurney to task in, saying, what are you going to do? How much are you going to commit? So the Barn will just grab his spice here. Cannot go shipping just yet. But I'm curious to see what his plan's going to be in regards to the rest of his faction bumps. He will not be able to live on purely shipping. He pulls his spy because he needs access to shipping and peels his ring, which is nuts. What a draw that is. It's going to leave enough persuasion for Subversive Advisor. He might even get that. Because Gurney, well, Gurney might get it potentially. If Gurney puts on a ton of troops, he would have the extra persuasion back from always smiling. That's his passive for persuasion if you've got 6 more combats. Strength. Yeah, what a draw for Staban. Pretty fortunate. So what does Margot want to do? Espionage looks pretty good. Gives you +2 spice. That is your passive as well. Just gets it done and dusted. Could also go Desert Tactics, I guess. But I feel like you're meant to use diplomacy. I think Espionage just can't be bad. Espionage, put your spy up on the council is okay. Put it on the Bene Gesserit's fine. You've got Make a Keeper as well, so you're heavily encouraged to go for your Benny and Fremen bumps pretty urgently. But it's going to go Arakeen first here. Pulls the dagger. I don't know if that's what they were looking for. I'm not sure that's a great result for him, truthfully. Maybe they were worried about getting shut out of combat here by Staban. I don't know. I guess the other thing is Gurney Halleck ever going... Who else here is going espionage here? And the answer is no one. So I guess going Arakeen first makes a ton of sense. Putting the spy on Siege would suggest that they're threatening a desert tactics move here. So Gurney Halleck basically has to decide how much is he going to commit force-wise. Is he just going to put it all in? He's going to put in at least 2, I imagine. I don't know if he's going to put any more on that. I think he'll be okay enough with 2nd place. You'll feel that's not unreasonable. Looking to see what Irulan's trashed. There is the Dune card. I don't know, you could go either way on this. I think you could put in the 4th troop if you want to. I think you could opt not to. If you put in the 3, you're basically selling Irulan. If you want to win it, then go for it. This is the price I'm going to set. If you want to go beyond that, then that's your choice. But I think there's good reason to. The problem with Irulan is, what other moves do you have now? You could go Imperial Basin, I guess. You could go Spice Refinery, I guess. You could go Spice Refinery and look to just try and pick up 2nd place. But Margot's still to act. And that would be a little bit uncomfortable. Putting the spy on Siege might suggest that Margot does have a diplomacy card. So that might encourage you to go research station here. Because if you put in if you put in 2 troops and then Margot just blasts it in off desert tactics, that's going to be pretty bad for you. I don't know. I feel... It depends how you see it. I mean, research station is very committing. You've got 3 persuasion. That's the other problem here. What are you buying off the row of 3 persuasion? It's all 4 costers, 2 treads. You'll be buying and preparing. That's about it. Like, I think research station's not unreasonable. You gotta try and bait him into it. Red's saying, keep the water. Go for deep desert. What are you gonna do? Does opt for refinery in the end, so is going to put in, assumably, 2 troops and look to pick up 2nd place here. And hope that Margot decides not to commit any more forces. Just guarantee a round 3 Swordmaster of the Ring. I don't hate this at all. And I think it makes reasonable sense. I mean, Staban's got to go shipping, right? Why did he take the bumps? Again, remember, he has no other faction access in his deck now. Seek Allies is gone. Convention would suggest you probably go Fremen, but, I mean, it's really awkward because there's no faction access on the row either, so... Do you just commit to the Spacing Alliance and kind of hope it all works itself out? Is that what you're meant to do here? Hope that you fluke a 4th bump and get some cash or whatnot? I have no idea. Puts the spy back on Hager Basin. No shocks there. Emperor doesn't seem to make any sense, and nor does the Benny, so it's either Fremen or Spacing. I think you're meant to go Spacing here. Yeah, and just commit. You know, you're playing incredibly high risk in the way you're playing this game anyway, so you might as well just go for it, I think. Yeah, I'm not totally against this. I think you're putting yourself in this position. Might as well go for it. So Margot is going to table the diplomacy redraw, and she is going to go tactics. Oh dear. Now, does she actually commit any more troops, though? That's a good question. Might not bother. Might legit just take the trash and garrison. Or is she going to go for it with contingency plan in mind and is going to go for it here? So that is not what Irulan wanted to see there. It's a bad result for her. But it is what it is. So Goni with 4, taking Unswerving Loyalty. That peels off Captured Mentat at 5 Costa. Man, does Stabantuit go for that? Guild Envoy turns up there. Faction Access. But Irulan's got 3 and he's going to take that away from Staban. He's not going to get hold of that. Stilgar next, 6 Costa. It's huge, but no one can afford it. Staban would have killed for Stilgar, but cannot afford it. He's got a dagger in his deck, in his hand, so cannot acquire it. I guess you go Subversive. Like, it's just, you've got no choice, right? Capture Mentat's a really good card, but I think he's going to be forced to do this and send this probably towards the Fremen. You would imagine? Maybe Bene Gesserit at a push? I don't know. He's put himself in trouble here. One of the fights at 7 cost. Wow, look at all these big costers out now. I tell you what, Irulan might well go Research Station this coming round. Because now she's at 7 Solari, it would give her the cash for Swordmaster. I think she might go Research Station with a couple of big cards that are out there now. Margot with 4. Alpha must know he's not winning this fight. Steersman comes out as well. Good grief. Massive cards on the row here. So, assumably Margot will play Contingency and win the fight. Right? Green's taking their stuff early. I mean, that's why Blue made the move here to play Contingency, right? Yeah, of course they did. So they'll take it down. Gurney will not be unhappy to get 2nd place here. He would have preferred, obviously, winning it outright, but, you know, it's reasonable. Why does she take a spy here? Did she just put it on Council? I think Council is not unreasonable here. Given the fact there's a lot of money out there, I think Council is fairly reasonable. Next round, you could even maybe go, you could even look to go Spice Refinery Swordmaster. I think that's where I would be putting is High Council. I think that's the spot. Espionage is taken. Could protect Arakeen, but I don't think anyone else is really putting their spy down here. I don't think that's necessary. Well, I don't know who clicked next round, but Blue had not put their spy down yet. Blue definitely didn't click it, so, you know. So we should be trying to keep on top of that. Does go Arakeen in the end. I mean, you could argue maybe they shouldn't be allowed to see their hand, but, I mean, they didn't click the round there. Anyways. I think I would have put it on Council. I think that was the correct move. Anyways, Irulan's going to go Reset Station 100%. Probably going to take the Smuggler's Harvester into hand as well, I would expect. Oh, wow. She's got both daggers in hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 Persuasion. Combat is the Imperial Basin. It's not a match for Irulan. It's not going to stop her. She's going to get stuck in here. This is a bit tricky for Irulan, actually. I don't think she's actually going to be able to get any of these big costers. So it's going to have to be there. Irulan not putting that in the right spot there. It's meant to go in the top right. So we can actually keep track of the amount of stuff going on there. But whatever. Definitely having some latency issues with Dino in this game. I did tell them if there are issues that they need to contact me and let me know what's going on. They never did. So, anyways. Staban's got 6 in his hand. Stabantuit might early reveal here. I could legit see Stabantuit maybe going like Assembly Hall and just revealing early for like London Fighters or Stilgar here. Absolutely crying out for faction access. Maybe occasionally goes accept contracts. Not entirely sure. But Staban's not going to be able to do anything else really into combat-wise here, so... I think Dinosaur, he was playing this on a laptop. Not on his usual rig, which might be partially why he might be running... I don't think he's where he'd normally be, so he's running off of a different Wi-Fi or something, and obviously not having a great connection to the game here, so I think that's what was causing these issues, but I could be wrong there. Question. Does Staban Tuek go High Council to take Steersman? Does he go accept contract to take the High Council rebate and go High Council itself? It would give him probably, if he went High Council, he'd have 8 persuasion and take Steersman. If he goes accept contract, unless he pulls his other dagger, he'd still have 8 persuasion. It would give him the Spacey Alliance as well. And I don't feel like Swordmaster's doing a ton of good for him right now until he gets, like, better cards in his deck. Oh, Irulan is going to take the Harvester here into hand. So that might encourage some early reveals here, potentially. We'll have to see. I think that's not a bad move, is the Barn. If you go accept contract, the only person that's ever going to go High Council is Irulan, who might go there ahead of you, though, given the price of cards out there. And if you take the High Council contract, you're encouraging Irulan to go High Council and block you, which is a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know. I feel like Staban is so desperate for anything faction. I think he has to strongly consider Steersman here. I think accept contract is the move. And you take the High Council contract here and you hope to get up there. What do you pull? Pull's convincing. Well, now you can just go Assembly Hall as well. I think you got to take High Council rebate here and threaten it. And knowing that if it does get blocked, you can still go Assembly Hall and you'll still have 8 persuasion here. I feel like that has to be the way forward for Staban. It's risky, but, you know, you chose Staban in 4th position, so you're rolling the dice here in this game. Margot's just going to ring Arakeen. Wow, she pulls her spy, of course. She's got 8 persuasion now. Margot might early reveal for Steersman here. This is getting uncomfortable for Staban now. Gurney's just going to keep slamming Siege and take loads of water. No surprise. Wall is up, of course, so he cannot get worms in, but he's got the synergy for the Unswerving Loyalty, so he can just blast this in pretty easily. Those who'll need more forces to win this, probably. Irulan like to have a load of daggers. So Irulan's got 5 persuasion. I don't know if taking the Harvester there was the right decision. Is Irulan going to go High Council and pull Spy here? Going to do it with Dangerous right here. It is. So they're going to gamble for like Stilgar or Long Live the Fighters probably. Recon is pulled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 7 persuasion. They take the bump here. They pick up Inspire or that is you take a 3 persuasion card. If you got worms in the battle, you get to put it in your hand. Not much use right now though. So what does Staban do here? He could reveal now and take Long the Fighters. Or does he go Assembly Hall and play for Steersman, hoping that Margot didn't fluke it? She could potentially have it. It's not likely. As it turns out, she does indeed have it, though. And I do think Staban made the right move going High Council and had to go for it. If Irulan decides to go in front of that, then so be it. I think Assembly Hall was too tempting here. The odds of Margot having 8 persuasion from those 6 cards on right now and give up the action is not high. Yeah, I can understand the tough spot here. She'd need to basically have all the 2 persuasion cards that she's bought in her hand. Again, sitting here, we know that blue has it, but I would not blame Staban at all for going Assembly Hall here. Having an Intrigue's also good as well. Maybe, you know, once in a blue moon, you fluke manipulate and you just get to reserve the card anyways. Revealing for fighters right now is also, it's just not a bad, it's totally fine. But I feel like he's going to drag himself into Assembly Hall here. And hope that green, or the problem is green could also have Steersman. Green's got 7 cards and High Council. That's the problem here. How often does Staban actually get steersman if he goes high assembly hall? I'd actually look at it. There's two people that could have it here. It's not likely, is it? And the problem is, if one gets steers, the other one takes fighters. And so Staban is going to take the spice here and gives up and is going to play for Gurney Halleck. They're going to play for Stilgar even. Should be noted that Red also has 6 persuasion here, by the way. With Always Smiling. Is Red only revealing here for Stilgar? I think Red might be only revealing for Stilgar here. Give up the diplomacy is not ideal, but Stilgar's such a strong card. I think you might be about to see 2 early reveals here. I think Margot's going to feel she has to reveal for Steers. And Gurney's going to think they need to get hold of Stilgar here. Pretty wild. Maybe you shouldn't be telling your opposition that. Alas. And we do see the early reveal for the first Steers. That's a huge blow to green, by the way. That is a real blow. And that's going to hurt a lot. Staban realised it was the right call not to go for it. Someone was going to get it somewhere or another here. I mean, when Irulan goes Research Station High Council, he's going to have... And Gurney does go for Stilgar. Does make the early reveal here. He's going to put the extra troop in, surely, with Unswerving. So Gurney's going to go for it here. That is bad news for yellow. So, Irulan with 8. Assumably he's going to go along with the fighters here as the consolation. And does. And that leaves Staban with 6. Wow. That's insane. Undercover assets out there. It's a dream card in a way for Staban 2-ek. He almost has to take it because he's got no faction access. Do you go covert operation, I guess? Or do you take coordination? I think you've got to take undercover assets. That lets him bypass influence requirement on spaces. Given the fact he has no faction access at all, that's a huge card to come off. I mean, a little bit perhaps, but there's not much you can do about it, green. Does take covert operation. I think that'll be a good card for Staban. Put some spy downs and finally get some faction stuff going here. But green probably got the roughest end of it. Hasn't won the combat either. He's tied. Didn't even win the fight. He's going to have to live with water here, which isn't helping him much right now as well. So it's a bit of a disaster for green. No one wins the basin. Gurney's going to be sitting there with 5 water. No, I think it makes total sense to go high counter there. Yeah, it gets into steers. The odds of blue having steersman is not that high. Yeah, I think green is unlucky. I think it was a good move to make. It's just unfortunate that blue had already got a 2-8 there off the Arakeen double draw. You know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. I would be sitting there a bit hard done by. I don't think Dance will do anything particularly wrong. And again, also trying to stop Staban getting steers also has some value in this as well. So I think totally reasonable move to make there. I think he can count himself unlucky. Well, Gurney Halleck's pretty happy here. Next up is Trade Dispute. It's the Trash and Water one, and it's a match for Gurney Halleck as well. It's a dream conflict for him. It's just what he wants to see at just the right time. He is going to be barreling in here at Deep Desert and going all in. No doubt about that. Staban finds Subversive and Covert Operation. But now he desperately needs to get hold of his Swordmaster. Does he just go... does he just go Spice Refinery to get Swordmaster and be done with it, and then just go, like, Secrets or something? He doesn't have to play Covert Operation. He could just let that put down some spies. I think Staban is meant to go and get his Swordmaster here. I think he needs the money desperately. He needs the agent actions now as well. With the spies coming out, now his deck's got some stuff going on. Red just checking everyone's discard piles. Some people care about that a lot more than I do. I'm just lazy. I think Staban is meant to just go Spice Refinery and just get it done. There's no spy up there as well. You could also just play your ring to somewhere else and then put your spy on council and just shift over that way. Yeah, that's actually true. He doesn't have to go spice refinery. He can do something else. Does he go Hacker Basin? And just take the spice and put his spy up on the council? Yeah, I think actually I'm okay with that. Lifts his spy, though, which I didn't expect. I'm very surprised he drew that. I'm very surprised. I thought I would have just left that there, but I guess he feels he's got covert operations, so he's going to move all his spies on the factions, probably. Is going to be what he's doing here. So I guess that might be why. Margot's up. Diplomacy in hand. Some options here. Does have Imperium politics, but doesn't have enough to really do a whole lot with it. Nothing really to go with Imperial privilege or shipping with. So it's kind of just sat there a bit doing not much. Kind of get involved in the conflict either here. This is kind of a bit of an awkward spot. I think you meant to just go siege. I think Margot wants to go siege, but she also wants to go to the Bene Gesserit first. Like, Bene Gesserit and then go siege and make people would be awesome. But I don't know how often you're actually managing that. I know you got your spy down. Goes for another double draw. Interesting. Eight persuasion? What are they after here? All the big cards are out the row. Think that was just a steersman dig? Might have just been a steersman dig, that. If so, they missed it. So, Gurney does not have to go deep desert yet. Doesn't have to go deep desert yet at all. No one can challenge him for the space. He's going to send his ring there, so he's basically got a free action here. What do you want to do with it? Could go Assembly Hall just to build up some intrigues. Is there ever a reason maybe to go gather support and just try and get a really commanding battle advantage here? Tread in Darkness can't be used for its ability here, so options are limited. I think Assembly Hall is fine. No, they're going to go siege first. No. And they're going to blow up the wall while they can here. I guess that's not unreasonable. Yeah, I guess that's also fine. They're absolutely swimming in water here, so plenty of it. Irulan is going to start hitting factions here. She'll be able to. She have to discard with Guild Envoy, so she'll get rid of Harvester for a double draw. It's another spacing card. It's a lot of daggers. Bit of a shame, really. Can't do a whole lot with it. Doesn't really have the firepower to get involved here. So Swordmaster of Staban. Does he leave his spy? He might leave his spy thinking, like, Irulan maybe occasionally has, like, contingency plan or something. Maybe. I think if you're going to pull your spy, it's because you're intending to go espionage. That's the only reason why you'd pull it, and you're trying to, like, get spices first or something. I don't really see how often you're actually managing that. I think you just leave the spy there. But then, if you're going to go espionage, it doesn't really matter. Because you're going to pull the spy anyway, so I guess you just pull it. But you also do need to get the High Council at some point in this game. Right. I think pulling it's fine. Yeah, it does. Just drawing some cards. Pulls repair, so decent persuasion here. Surely they will be sending Subversive to the Bene Gesserit, however. It would not be. I don't expect them to play Covert. Don't seem to make a whole lot of sense here. Well, Margot's got 8 persuasion. I don't know what she's doing next. Can't expect they're going to win this fight. They're hoping maybe to somehow get second place, but that could be very difficult to manage as well. The difference between second and third place in this fight is pretty extreme. Just going to pick up the cash here. Are they going to draw and try and fluke? Oh, wow, they find Steersman there. So that is Spice Must Flow. That is 9 persuasion. They do not get to use Steersman, but they do get the 2 Spice. Gurney, of course, will Deep Desert. He'll all be going in, probably. He's at 10 strength. Trying to work out if that's possible enough. He's got to put in at least 1 more troop, I think. And if he put them all in, I wouldn't blame him either. 10 is a little risky. You're asking for Irulan to give you trouble here. Does have Research Station Water. I don't think... I mean, that is asking for trouble. No, and there are swords in Irulan's deck with fighters. I think you've got to put in the extra troop. So Irulan will stay out of this. Picks up Unexpected Allies. Wow, that's a big card. That could be good later on, because she's nowhere near getting hooks herself. And Staban goes to Secrets instead with Subversive. Interesting. Picks up Shaddam's Favor. That's the troop. And if he's got free Persuasion with the Emperor, he gets free Slurry. He is nowhere near that. So just taking the point, but not the intrigue he was really looking for. But what are you going to do? So Margot with 9. Gets the Spice and Slow point. Can't feel too bad about the Steersman draw at the end there. I'd say it's totally good. Gurney with 4. Smuggler's Favor's out there, by the way. Seems the card to take. Get that to, like, deliver supplies once. Wow, Thumper. Going all in on the Fremen build is what he's doing here. Wow. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of that. Thumper is the one that gives you bonus spice, but it doubles the bonus spice, not the base spice. I get the idea of going down the Fremen route, but I don't think it's worth giving up Smuggler's Favor for that. I'm not sure that was the right move. I don't know if diluting your deck... He's obviously expecting the wins. He's thinking he's going to trash a couple of base cards, but even so, it's a little bit questionable. Irulan with 9 as well. Gets her point. Stabantuk's going to get Smuggler's Favor here if he wants it. It's pretty wild. And I don't see how he doesn't take it. He's got 5. Just block up all the spice spots here, which means that surely he's taking Favor. He's got to try and generate a point or 2 out of that. I can't see him going Sardaukar here. Coordination's a nice card, but, I mean, it's like one of Staban's best cards in the game. Should you go just grab it? Wheels and Wheels comes out. That's another potentially good card for Staban there. Can't get it right now, though. Anyways, nothing to play. Alpha wins it. And second place, stolen from blue. And we'll move on here. So, I feel like first 4 rounds, honors are... I feel like they're fairly even. I might feel that maybe Alpha is, like, fractionally behind, potentially. He's very reliant on his battles getting the job done. And something like, this is not a good confidence in Arakeen here. He needs stuff to generate him bumps and points. And that is not doing the job for him there. So, I don't know. I feel Alpha might be slightly lagging here. Other than that, it feels pretty close so far. Arakeen, it is. It is a Thopter symbol. Argo does have one. I don't see how often she's going to manage to win this, though, with no Swordmaster in first to add. It's a bit tricky. Just going to go Espionage. Yeah, makes sense. Gets the 2 Spice. Picks up Steersman off the draw. That is all Margot's going to be doing here, is just drawing as many cards as humanly possible and just try and see Steersman as much as she can. It's going to be the game plan here. Right, the old Talaxi Master of old, isn't it, really? Get TM and just draw every card in your deck as much as you can. Gurney gets his... Interesting, he doesn't play the Watermaster there, so looks like he's going to look to reveal the Watermaster for the Spice, I guess. Does he have intentions of going Highliner maybe next round? Possibly. Here along with 2 faction access cards in her ring. Obviously, High Council in play. What do you want to do here? Feel like you're kind of obligated to use these. You've drawn both cards. You feel like you've probably got to use them. Secrets, Frem Kit, deliver supplies. All reasonable. Frem Kit it is. Long as the fight is found again, we would obviously rather be playing the card than revealing it, and obviously now doesn't even have any troops to get involved in, so it's a bit tricky for Irulan, this. But I think Fremkit makes a ton of sense. It's the barn with undercover assets, so he's allowed to go to any place that doesn't have the requirements. He's going to use that to go to Siege to get his hooks. Fairly standard, so ignore the point. Some people just do this just for the convenience of it. I prefer to just pull it across, personally. That's just, you know, it's up to you what you want to do. I don't know how often he's actually going worms in this game, by the way. He might try and put them in here, potentially. He's not really got a whole lot else to do. A little bit unsure. Steersman for will be Swordmaster for Margot. I assume she just uses her dagger and just pulls the agent, or is she intending to? Wow, she uses Steersman to do it. Pulling the espionage spy. Was she trying to like fluke getting back there or something? Does she have another card that gets her to espionage? That was a bit of a weird move. Maybe she's looking just to go Assembly Hall with the dagger and just pick another Spiceless Flow, I guess. Bit of a strange move, that, though. Not what you'd normally see. People... Yeah, wall's busted. Gurney, of course, just goes Hager Basin. I mean, Gurney's game plan here is pretty straightforward, and it's pretty obvious what he's going to do. The problem is that he's basically, at this point, I think, reliant on combats going his way, that he wins a lot of them, and he wins them fairly cheaply, and they give him good rewards. Problem is, they're giving good rewards, he ain't going to win them cheaply. And now he feels he's got to commit as well, so this is problematic, I think. They need to get rid of the mouse, because obviously no one won it. Margot, Irulan's like, yes, please. I'll go to espionage. I'm cool with that. Does need to discard a card. Yeah. Shouldn't do that because now there's a flag on... People do this, and now there's a flag on Imperial Basin, which should not be there, because, I thought it got tied, didn't it? Yeah, no one won Imperial Basin, so now there's a flag there. Oh, for goodness sakes. This is going to cause problems later on. It's the problem when doing this pre-recorded sometimes. People just put it into the discard pile, and they don't think it puts the flag there. They just don't think of this at all, so I'm waiting for that to come up in about, like, 5 minutes, and someone goes there and is like, why is Blue getting spice? Well, they won the fight. No, they didn't. Silly people. Anyway, shipping for Staban, I think is not unreasonable here. Does he use this to get hold of the Spacing Alliance? I think he should just take the Spacing Alliance now and be done with it. He might talk himself into taking a bump elsewhere, like the Fremen or Emperor or something, but he's already got hooks. And I don't think he's going Imperial Privilege very much. I think he should just go spacing and just get it done here. Or is he feeling greedy with the... Oh, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think this is responsible at all. I mean, this is really reckless taking this bump. You really expect to get both these alliances and hold them? I mean, there's playing, you know, greedily, and there's just throwing all caution to the wind. I think this is a complete overstep, and I don't expect this is going to work. Someone's going to hunt him down on one of these alliances. If either of if the battles come out as well, or if propaganda comes out later on in the game, Like, yellow is toast here. He's basically gambling that no faction bump combats come out. Or if it does, that he wins them. I think this is prone to majorly backfiring. And I think he might regret this. And if so, it's a problem of his own making. Did not have to do this at all. But deciding to take the chance here. Maybe he thinks that blue is threatening, perhaps, and he's got to try and get in front of the alliance, but this is dangerous. So Margot's in a weird spot. She's got 8 persuasion. Obviously, could just go Imperial, could go Assembly Hall and just reveal and take the Spice Must Flow. Doesn't have any Bene Gesserit, so Tread's agent box is not doing anything. What else have you got here? Accept contract, maybe? I guess accept contract's not unreasonable. Make a keepers out there. Which wouldn't be a bad draw at the moment. What contract do you take? You've got the Highliner Water, and you've got the Harvest Free for 3 coins. I don't know if it's likely going to get either of those. Maybe the Highliner Water? Nope, Margot decides she's going to go get hooks. The hell with Spiceless Flow here. She's going to get herself in here. She thinks she's going to make some moves here to try and get some money here for High Council, as well as her intrigue. So Gurney's going to reveal for a couple of spice. Well, 3 actually. Watermaster's reveal is 2 spice, which is pretty strong, by the way. He's got 5 persuasion. Coordination's not bad. Capture Mentat's also up there as well. You've got a lot of money. It helps Capture Mentat a bit, having a decent economy going. But coordination with 7 spice is also very dangerous. Goes for captured. I think that's fine. Irulan with the 6 takes Desert Power. So, taking Desert Power, but does not have hooks yet. Figures that she's going to get them fairly soon, so setting up for later on down the line. Staban's, I assume, just going to take the spice at Imperial Basin. I'm hoping they realise that Margot's flag shouldn't be there, and they get rid of it. What else has Staban got to do here? I mean, if he just limps it in, it's free Solari, which isn't bad. That pays for like an Imperial privilege later on with undercover assets. I think that's the right move. Now, do they spot Blue's flag? Or are they just going to miss it entirely and Blue's going to hit bonus spice in this game? Is that why Red's digging through here? Oh dear, he's having some fun with doing so. I think he's running... So some players, when they play this, they keep the hand preview at the bottom of the screen, which is why you see these weird jerkabouts sometimes. I turn it all off. I don't like using it, personally. But I wonder if that's what's going on here. He's looking, he's like, should that flag be there? Looks like they're going to forget it. For Christ's sakes. This is a semi-final competition. This isn't good. The one game where I just say, look, I can't cover it. I'm just going to record it. You guys sort yourselves out. And this is what you get. I mean, I'm sorry, everyone. Like, what are we going to do? Just have to tell them semi-final is just, you know, it's null and void. They broke the rules. Pretty illegal. If Blue wins this now, it's going to get awkward, isn't it? Oh, please don't tell me Blue wins this game. Otherwise, we might have a problem. I mean, it's Blue's fault for putting it in their discard pile. This is why you shouldn't do this. But it's also the table's fault for not realizing. By the way, Margot just blasts it in here at Deep Desert. She does go for the fight here to get the pair. Wow. And that is a catastrophe for Red. That is an absolute catastrophe here. Red paying for not having the action economy. Oh my god, and they just got Strike Fleet. Because Staban just got Wheels in Wheels. And Margot Fenry has just gone favourite in this match, surely. What? What an insane, insane draw that is. Just top deck, bank. Thank you very much. And surely Blue is now favourite in this game. With Steersman and Strike Fleet, two of the strongest out there. Yeah, that is devastating. Surely you put the Spy on the Spacing Guild now. That looks so dangerous. Blue is going to have a target on their back here, however, but I don't know if it's going to matter a whole lot here. Surely Strike Fleet's the way to go. Especially with this erroneous flag on Imperial Basin. Just got to accept it's there now, but it definitely shouldn't be. And yeah, Margot Fenring is definitely got to be favourite in this match here. Alpha with a brutal second place. They're falling behind. They're in trouble here. They might, if it's anything that they can use in this battle, I think they're going to be forced to go Highliner here. Looking for Spice Freighters. It isn't. It's Chome Security, which is not necessarily what Staban wants to see. He did not want to see this conflict come out. Now this alliance that he could have secured and didn't is now in some danger here. Well. And Gurney's got Diplomacy, and Gurney's got Stilgar, and Gurney's got Unswerving, and that's about it. I think Gurney Halleck's going to feel committed to go Highliner this game, this round here. He can still get Worms in as well, and Staban Turk is about to be in a lot of pain. Only dagger out there is Irulan. She ain't winning this fight. Don't worry about that. It feels like red and yellow are about to go to war here, and blue is just going to sit idly by and shore themselves up here and get ready for the next round, and might even just take it away there. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what has happened in the past 5 minutes here. Absolute momentum shift here. And that should tell you how much trouble Staban Turk is in here. And he must know he's in trouble here. Just get it in. Might as well. Staban has no access to Highliners. Reliant on spy cards for faction access. He's in huge trouble. What does Irulan do this round? Goes Spice Refinery. Oh, that's a weird move. What's that about? Oh, needs a Swordmaster, that's why. Sorry. Staban's going to go Espionage. He's got no choice here. Intelligence report is found, which is actually pretty good. He's got the spies out here. It's a decent draw for him. He can't put his spy on Space and Guild, though. That alliance looks in absolute jeopardy, and he's obviously made no inroads on the Fremen or the Emperor here. He might gamble for one of the two other factions and leave the Bene Gesserit alliance open, and I think Blue will look at that and think, I can probably take this down. They've got Imperium politics, remember, so they don't have as much pressure on the other. The Emperor point is theirs whenever they want it, basically. They want to send Strike Fleet to Highliner. And then if they decide they want to go for like the Bene Gesserit zone, they can just liberally go for it here. He's going to put this bump somewhere that's not the Bene Gesserit, and it could all very quickly fall apart here for Staban Turk. I do feel like they've been playing a bit expectantly, hoping that particular combats do not come out. But, I mean, you're always asking for trouble when you do this. Siege. Is that because he's got undercover assets, I guess? He's basically telling his opponents he doesn't have any more faction access or spy cards in his deck. Why else would he do this? Very strange move. Margo was wondering what the heck's going on here. She just needs to prepare herself for next round. That's all she has to do here. Does not need to get involved. She'll be a little bit wary of drawing a ton of cards, though. If she was to start drawing and pulling Strike Fleet early, that would be pretty bad. She's in a great spot to just target the next round, whatever it is, and just blast it. But she wants a worm with it as well, and that's the issue that Margo has. How does she get a worm next round? She does act before Gurney. I don't know how often Staban is going Haga Basin immediately, though, and Irulan does not have hooks yet. Margo might go Siege here to block Irulan from getting hooks, to get some water together. Go as Arakeen instead. That flank is legitimate. There is Strike Fleet. Pulls it early. Oof. Well, that's not ideal. They're going to have to get a little bit fortunate here on the redraw. They really wanted that next round. That is not good timing for them. Still in the driving seat, I feel, here. Swordmaster for Gurney. Diplomacy, Highliner, possibly coming. Might go Coordination instead because of... I don't know what he's going to do. He might go Coordination. But Margo is looking dangerous here, and you would not want Margo to... I don't see Margo going Highliner here. I just think going Highliner with Strike Fleet now is not correct, but I don't know what you do. Do you go there with Steersman next round, I suppose? Bit of a weird spot. I've no idea what Staban Tuek's going to be doing here. I guess he's just going... Surely he's just going Siege with undercover assets. Why, he played this, right? Is he going to go High Council now? He can't get Spiceman's Flow. Unless he goes Intelligence and pulls pretty decently. Yeah, this is really messy for yellow right now. Bad place to be. Kind of making up as he goes along, I think, a bit. Doesn't have the access. They never got the Fremen. Oops. And I've seen that before. People go to undercover assets with to get to Siege, and they just think they can go there all the time. People do it. I've done it. And that's why he put his spy there, because you expect him to go there with his ring, and he's like, oh, I can't get there. And Staban has blundered. And I think dreams of... Did he not take the spice? Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But I tell you what, if I'm sitting in the yellow seat, the spot in the grand final feels like it's getting further and further away here. Does he just go shipping? No one else can get shipping, so I guess he got High Council. He can move a spy with his ring. That gives him the money for Imperial Privilege, which he might be going to. He might actually send a couple of assets to Imperial Privilege. Yeah, he's desperately scrambling now. Oh, he pays for the intrigue. Okay, do it that way instead. Picks up Detonation. Well, the wall's blown. Might be occasionally useful to get some more troops in. I don't know. It's not looking too hot, though. Again, no spy access to Spacing Gear, which is what he would have liked. It's sitting there. So what does Margo do? I don't feel like she should ever be blasting Image Strike Fleet here at Highlight. It's just, you got to hold on. The question is, do you think this game's going 8 rounds? I feel like this game could be going 8 rounds. I don't think anyone's finishing this in 7. In which case, you're very likely to see Strike Fleet before the game is over. So I think you can just chillfully wait. Just goes accept contract. Does not find Steersman. Highliner will all be taken. That's obviously with intentions of looking to pick up some worms here. So I suspect next round they'll be trying to get themselves to espionage and putting a spy on Deep Desert, I think. And then they'll look to go Highliner Deep Desert and just win the game. Also puts Yellow in a bit of a bit uncomfortable with the Bene Gesserit. What does Gurney do? Does he highline or does he go coordination or something? The Highliner double troops is out there as well, by the way. The problem is it's not. He's not. Does he think he's going to get the Highliner next round? If he doesn't, he thinks he should probably highline now. If he highlines now, he gets the but the problem is it's not a match for him either. It's not an amazing conflict for him. He's already going to get 2 bumps anyways. Does he think he can steal this alliance from Staban? Staban can't get to the Spacing Guild. He's reliant on shipping. So I could get mine. You could just highline and just keep most of his garrison. You've got unswerving loyalty, so you have some flexibility on troops on your reveal. Just goes dutiful and takes the extra troops. I felt that was the other option to take. I mean, that's totally fine as well. Irulan's just going to take the extra spice here. Margot gets more spice that she shouldn't have got. That's 2 now. We are keeping track here. I really hope, in a way, that Blue doesn't win this, or at least if they win it, it's a total blowout. If they win it by, like, a spice tiebreaker of, like, 1 spice, it's going to be awkward. But, you know, that's all I can say, kids, is if you're playing this mod, and if there's a tie for a symbol, don't put that symbol into your trash pile, because it goes over your play area, and the game thinks that you won, and it puts your flag up. Just chuck it to the top, or chuck it to the bottom. Do whatever. Don't put it anywhere near a player map, because this sort of thing happens. Margot plays for it now. Looks like she might actually be going to Imperial Privilege, trying to dig for Steersman. Doesn't find it, but gets Diplo, which is pretty good as well. No intrigue to spin. Just a total stall this, basically. Trying to find a better card. Gurney having to take a risk here. Not guaranteed he's going to win this fight, by the way. Margot's sitting there with troops and garrison. It's very scary. Alpha has to win this fight to have any chance to stay in this game here. I think Margot is best off just sitting back and waiting. She might go secrets here, and she might put Staban in real trouble. Staban, by the way, chucked in a worm of his own. But he can't win the fight. His 4 swords are not enough. Secrets is fine. Could maybe occasionally go like Fremkit or something. But I'd be a bit scared about putting Steersman right now. You want to see Steersman next round, preferably. I think Secrets is the move. Just have an intrigue in your back pocket's always good. Just makes it a little bit more difficult for your opponents to play against you. When you have no intrigues, as we've seen like in Red Spot, like Blue's taken advantage of that a couple of times. Because he's got 13 strength and that's it. Staban having to get involved in this fight a bit because he feels like he's got to try and he's got to try and do something about this conflict here, but he can't win it. He realizes he's going to could be in some trouble here. I think Secrets is just totally fine. I think Secrets would be my move. I think here, Strike Fleet swords aren't doing anything for you. Means you are just going to get 3rd place, which isn't great. I mean, do you highline here? feel like Blue might be talking themselves into this. Blue might be talking themselves into this. But I don't think it's right. I'd even be going, like, coordination over that. Or go Sardaukar over it and just garrison a load of dudes. They're going to get a loose spice back from Spice Must Flow in their hand. If you highlight now, you ain't getting back there, I don't think. Is this really the fight you want to go in for here? Staban's kind of playing like he's got a battle intrigue and he's going to overtake red here. Like, if I was sitting in blue spot, I would be expecting yellow to be winning this fight. He's kind of played it like he's going to win it. Like he's got, you know... Maybe he's got the Lift a Spy for 5 swords intrigue would be my best guess. Maybe a contingency. You know, something along those lines. So I wouldn't be looking at this thinking, I need to get the 14 strength. I'd be looking at thinking, I need to have like 16, 17, 18 strength. Which you can definitely do. If you highline, you can win the fight. But I don't think it's that useful. The bump's not doing a ton for you. It's not a matching conflict. Gets you the water, okay, that's good. But then what? But Margot does also want second place minimum in this fight. 3 troops and the 3 swords, which is a troop and intrigue, is not great. Could just go back to Arakeen, maybe. I guess. Tough spot for Blue. I guess. They're definitely still in the driver's seat in this game. I just feel like Highline is a bit too committing. I just think Secret is the move. Get an intrigue. Give yourself some options for next round. Maybe 8 rounds. Again, that's the way I look at it. Like, is anyone else getting to 10 points next round here? Honestly, I don't think so. Like, maybe Staban gets there occasionally. But that's about it. It's the 3rd time now Alpha's dug through that part. I think Secret's the way forward. That's what I'll be playing. Yeah, does go for it. Paul's, what is that? That is... I think that's Diversion? Oh, it's Manipulate. Oh, they could manipulate Spacing Guild Favor here. That's another Highliner access card. It's also a really strong reveal. Yeah, that looks like to be the move here. So they're going to peel that off. Basically, it's like Helena's Ring of Old. So they can get that for Persuasion now, which they have in hand. So that's a very useful draw out there. I think this is the right way to go. A little fortunate maybe, but that's how it goes. And I dare say that this Bene Gesserit Alliance is looking incredibly dodgy. About as dodgy as the £50 note I found the other day. Alphanova is going to be surprised that he wins. He did not expect that at all. He'll be relieved. Detonation for Margot now as well. So she has potential troop putting in. Contracts all over the place for Gurney. Oh dear. It's propaganda. Well, well, well. We talked about this earlier. Big oof for Staban Tuek. Big oof. There's lots to gain here for lots of players, by the way. Everyone has got stuff again at propaganda. But the truth is that Staban has a lot to lose. It is not the conflict they wanted to see, but, you know, you chance your arm and sometimes it goes back and bites you. It's a great result for Margot, I think, as well. I think she's happy to see propaganda because she's not really in danger anywhere. She's got nothing to defend. I think she also would have been just okay with just seeing just straight points. Margot's just highlining, right? She's just going to highline and get worms in and just absolutely rip this Bene Gesserit Alliance to shreds here. Feels like it. Staban finds his Frogler's favorite eventually. It was bottom of the deck. I think he's going to talk himself to just go deliver supplies here. But he's in... This is critical. Or is he going to highline? Because I have defense. Oh, he might highline. He might sack off the guaranteed point if he's got to defend here. Oh, dear me. And he is. He feels he's got to get in front here. He thinks he actually just has to win this fight. Unbelievable. Now that tells you how bad a situation Staban Turek is in. He's having to send his smuggler's favor to highline. That's brutal. Margot gets the worm in. Plenty to fight for. Might well be looking at highline research station here. Surely this is Margot's game to win. No one's really got any useful intrigues, unfortunately, in this situation. There's not many out there. In the midst of all this, Dinosaur's kind of just kind of idling a little bit in this one. Not really able to kind of take any advantage of anything at this table. He's kind of falling aside as well. It feels like a fight between blue and yellow, and blue is winning. Ilan's got to try and make something happen here. Maybe she just holds on for next round and hopes this game continues. Gurney blasted in at Arakeen. Not a surprise. Arakeen contracts. Gurney Halleck does have Hunter access, but he can't get there. He cannot get there. How Gurney would be killing for the likes of Cho and Profits or any of the contract cars that come out in the Imperium row, but they're nowhere. Alpha, I can only assume, was not feeling very optimistic about his chances at this point. He gets the troops in. It's kind of obligatory. What's going on here? What is going on here? Is he taking the move back? Ooh. That's going to raise some questions, I think, from his opponents here. Yeah. Yeah, that's a bit iffy. I mean, once you click the draw button, I don't know. Just one. I mean, one is not zero. Man, looks like I missed all the fun here. I think the one thing I would say to those watching is that if you're going to take a move back like this off something that drew, you should probably ask the table, can I do it, before just cracking on doing it. So I think that is what I would say there. I would ask the table and say, I want to do this. Is that okay? Before getting the yes or no before doing it. Because now you're just like, you're doing it. It gives the impression you're kind of bulldozing a little bit, you know? Like you're doing it so that it's now more effort to say, oh, well, if we say no, he's got to go back and do it again, you know. I'm not saying that's what he's intentionally trying to do there, but, I mean, I'll be honest, if I was honestly watching this table, And if they asked me, I would probably be stepping in and saying, and saying no here. It's a semi-final of a competition as well. Like, you know. If you were playing on Doom Digital, you'd not be able to take this back. It would block you from doing that. You'd commit yourself to make you press the button. Looks like they are gonna yeah. You know, I'm okay with people, like, you know, maybe making a choice and then maybe having second thoughts. I would just say, in your games, if you're going to do that, ask the table before you do anything and get confirmation before you get the confirmation. Because now it's also the situation, yeah, like, we have to assume that was the card he had. Like, I'm not saying Alpha would cheat here, but there are players that play these games, and, you know, there are people who might try and take advantage of these situations. And at this point you're reliant on trust. So, but I would be saying, no, you've clicked Arakeen, you've seen a card, that's it, you're committed. I mean, it's the only decision to make there. So, Irulan will go reset station, as it should have been. Noticing that means they don't have the water for unexpected allies. And bear in mind, Desert Power is still not in any use for getting worms into the conflict, by the way. Limper Troop in here. What is that move? Yeah, I don't see any point in doing that. That seems completely pointless. I mean, maybe they just lost focus on what's going on in the conflict with all that was going on a moment ago. That's my best bet. So back to Staban. I think covert operation is the call here. It's bad news for Irulan if this happens, by the way. Irulan at 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. I mean, like 12 persuasion. But it means that she's going to struggle to use the likes of Guild Envoy a little bit here, maybe. Well, she needs to discard the Harvester, I guess. So Arakeen double draws. I think Staban in a bit of desperation here, so it will force a discard from all opponents. Officially, it's in turn order. They pull Wheels Within Wheels, and they pull Coordination. So Irulan discards the Dune. I expect Gurney will do the same. And Irulan will discard... Oh, no! Gurney had to get rid of Convincing. Guess he's keeping his options open here. Interesting move. I don't know if it's going to make a big difference in the whole grand scheme of things, but I'm a little bit surprised to see that go. Guess he has no intentions of buying any spots. I guess he can't buy any spots flows here, so what's the point in holding on to it? So I'm just going to keep getting them in. So what does Margot do? Does she pull the trigger on Highline here? The problem is she doesn't really have anything else to do right now. If she does, it opens up Hagar Basin, which Gurney Hallett would probably not hesitate to get the worm in, which is why she's going to wait here. Arakeen first. Does not have any Benny in play, so the Ancient Box does nothing. So just the draw. Oh my goodness me. Just top deck Strike Fleet. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. I think that could be game. It might not be game right here and right now, but I think that's game. Margot is going to Strike Fleet Highliner and just empty everything in here. But does she have enough actual strength? Ah, so there's a bit of a weird spot here, actually. She could do that, but then she has no swords. And so the barn will have some. Margot has got a worm in, yes. Coordination for Gurney. Picks up special mission. Not helping with a ton here. Irulan will just take the point here. Armstead will go to draw 2. Desert Power just going to be a 2 persuasion card here. So the barn's going to go Assembly Hall, I assume. He might go High Council again, actually. And he does go High Council again. Don't see that often. The High Council respin. 5 Solari for the 2 Spice, Intrigue, and 3 troops. For detonation, specifically. So Blue might realize that's on its way. Finds Go to Ground, which is not helping right now, though. And Staban Tuek, he can empty his garrison into conflict here. But it's not going to be enough. Marco's going to empty her garrison, and the Worm is going to carry the day here. And Staban might feel a little bit hard done by. He's not found any swords. Also, he's not had a great set of intrigues. Margot will go to... Interesting, Margot sends Steersman to Imperial Privilege, so that will lift both other agents. Detonation goes for a respin. Finds Market Opportunity, which is pretty good. So both agents will be taken back. He's going to actually struggle to use both of them, mind you. Only 2 access cards. Unbelievable to just top deck strike like that. That is an absolute dream draw. I don't remember the last time I just drew a card like that off the top of my deck. It's been a long time. You just can't teach that, kids. Either you have the power to do that, or you don't, and it's one that I do not possess. Which is why I'm sitting here calling this game and not playing it. That, and I'm not very good at Uprising, probably, but oh well. Gunny. Well, I mean, there's not really much for Gunny to do in this spot. It has not happened for him, unfortunately. Hasn't really come together this game. Been a bit of a bystander. Very reliant on combats going his way, and they haven't really been that kind. Bit of bad timing on some of it. Gonna go Refinery. I guess he's building up the cash, hoping that the money conflict comes off next, which is Spice Refinery. So he can try and win that with Highline or whatnot and Worms and get both points. That's all that move is. He's hoping that it comes off Spice Refinery for round 8. That there is a round 8. Irulan reveals and takes the Spice. Well, look at this. Green a little dirty here. Trying to say, has Blue got unexpected? Trying to say, oh, you might have unexpected. I don't have unexpected. Of course, Green can say it because they, of course, have unexpected. The thing is, though, is that you can't really say that anything here. That's a bit suspect because literally Blue just cycled their only intrigue. So it could be literally anything. So I'd be looking at that, and if I was sitting there as, like, Riella, I'd be like, you do know that they literally just cycled their intrigue, and it could be literally anything. And I'd be a bit suspect that, I think it's a bit of a tell there that Green is unexpected. If they'd have been sitting on the intrigue for, like, 3 rounds, sure. I think it's a little bit of a tell there. Anyways, Staban was about to place Shadam's favour, realizes his garrison's totally empty. So Detonation will be coming to put these troops in. I tell you what, Margot will be happy to see that, by the way, because she realised that there's now only 1 intrigue that Staban can have that could be swords. And they'll be looking at it and thinking, you know what, I might actually win this battle. Strike Fleet might legit get me there. Kind of crazy, this. Spicer's flow for Staban. And green really pushing that blue has unexpected allies. No reason that blue would have unexpected allies, by the way. No reason at all. Oh, he's talking about Strike Fleet. Now he's talking about Strike Fleet, yeah. Unfortunately, blue top decked it a while back. Blue doing the right thing and not getting involved in the chatter. I did mention this a while back. I had a feeling that red, especially green and yellow, would be pretty chatty in this game, and blue would be best off not getting involved. And they've done exactly that, which I like to see. Just focus your own game. Don't worry about them. Don't get led astray. Yes, you have claimed 2 spice illegally in this match, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I guess. That's the thing with board games on TTS sometimes, that you know, it's great in that it allows this great opportunity to, you know, to have all this content and such, and it's very accessible, but it doesn't stop people from intentionally or not breaking rules. There's no particular safeguards in place. The only one is, like, you know, with influence requirements and obviously the wall. Still amazes me the amount of people that you see, and we've seen it in this competition time and time again. People go into the competition, and you know, like, go to put worms in, and the ball's still up. Yeah, Margot's got, it's just a nothing move. It's just a waiting move. That's all it is. There's the Strike Fleet, and blue can't win this. They can only gain 2 points, and the point off of propaganda is endgame, so they're going to be sat at 9. But I don't think anyone is catching blue at this point. I think this match is over. And I think Terra is going through to the quarterfinal, to the grand final. Now, it should be noted at this point that even if that is the case, there is still a spot in our runner-up match with a cash prize. That goes to whoever finishes second here. So that's what I think we're going to focus on at this point here. It's going to become probably a fight between green and yellow for second place here. I mean, yellow's obviously going to lose the Bene Gesserit Alliance. I do think that was an overreach. I think they may be a little bit unlucky how they've lost this, but I do think going for that was really, really, really risky. But yeah, I think blue is going to be sitting there thinking, as long as Irulan doesn't have like 2 endgame points, I'm probably just good here. And even if she does have 2 endgame points, like, you know, secure spice contracts and whatnot, what are you gonna do? That's an endgame point. That is not how that works. Just getting it ready, I guess, but they shouldn't really do that. It's a bit confusing. But I would expect that Margot... So now they're checking and saying, they're like, does it not cash? No, it's definitely endgame. I'll be sitting there telling them that. Anyways, wow, result for... So for Gurney Halleck, it actually is... it is Spice Refinery, so it is actually the Solari conflict here. So them taking that money is actually pretty useful for them. So, but they have no Highlander access. They have no Highlander access. I mean, you should know at this point that that's how that works. Anyways. Staban misses Highlander access as well. He just puts his spy there because he doesn't really know what else to do. He's just going to draw as many cards as he can and hopes to find Highlander and just get it in. The conflict doesn't match anyone, by the way. No daggers. That would have been the Arakeen fight. The spy pulling, I believe, was daggers. So, honestly, this is the great conflict for blue here. Like, yellow and green cannot score heavily here at all. They don't have money. It doesn't match any of their symbols. So, I think blue just needs to find... Oh, hold on a second. Wait, Margot didn't take the Bene Gesserit alliance? Wow. Well, I tell you what, they haven't taken the Bene Gesserit alliance yet, but they're about to. Because the Barn is not going to defend it. Wild. Wild. Yes, Margot went... Margot took the Emperor alliance, but forgot to take a spy. Yeah, and Green's saying, why do we want to get involved here? Like, they got the Hunter contract, Stilgar, Worms. Like, I'm never going to win this fight. Oh, dear me. Well, people missing the rewards here. This table not coating itself in glory at this point. The one game I'm not there for, and this is what happens. You let the inmates run the asylum. So Margot should have her choice of spy. And then Staban should be allowed to put his spies wherever afterwards, really. Like, the correct thing to do is to put this on the Bene Gesserit. That is 100% the best thing to do. But now it's all because now Staban's taking actions. It's a bit iffy. So, a bit of a spirited debate here, I guess we'll say. But I'm pretty sure that Blue did not hit Makers, and that's twice now that someone has hit Makers before all rewards were taken. You know, and I do emphasize in these competitions the importance of making sure that, you know, it is kind of accepted practice that the winner of a combat is the one that hits Makers Recall, because they've got the most rewards to sort out. There's a couple of times now that things have been happened before Blue. Which ultimately is only for Blue's benefit, in a way. They get to see stuff happen before they can take the reward properly. I mean, it's not their fault that someone pressed Maker's Recall beforehand, but obviously it's a bit iffy, this. But what are you going to do? The correct place to put this spy is the Bene Gesserit, surely. And just go for the alliance. Staban is not going to be able to defend it. Like, you're just going to take it apart. You've got 3 spies as well. You've got, you know, you can go espionage. And then the only problem is that you kind of need the bump from... So you want 2 bumps to the faction, right, if you're going to take this alliance, which means you need to hit the faction, and then you need to get Spacing Guild favor off, which needs 3 spice. Actually, this isn't quite as obvious as it looks. But you just need 1 point. So you either go the spice must flow, you've got the end game coming. Like, as long as you end the game this round, like, this game is almost certainly over, because Stilgar's going to win the fight. You know, Green has already said, I'm not getting involved. How can you get involved when Gurney's sitting there with all that combat potential? Yeah, it's the only place it makes sense to go to. I want to say this is a little unfortunate for Staban, how this has gone down, but I don't think he would have changed his move. He had no way of getting to there anyways. Does pay for espionage in the draw anyways, which is interesting. So double draw. So going for the spice must flow. Are they just going to go market opportunity here and just go for Imperial privilege? Maybe. Gurney's just going to go, assumably, to Deep Desert. So he gets the bonus spice. He'll go for Research Station with the ring and or Stilgar sort of thing. But yeah, this has been a bit of a, you know, being objective, it has been a bit of a messy match, this. Sometimes they are. Both in terms of, you know, how it was played and also just kind of things that happen. Irulan's not really got anything ready to do here. Just going to draw some cards. Try and get a Spice Bomb. Best you can hope for is to somehow get to second place and hope that Staban loses the Bene Gesserit Alliance. Get a Spice Bomb flow and call it a day. That is 9. That's good enough. Remember, she can get a worm in with unexpected allies, and that will allow her to put a card into her hand. Even just, has to be from the road, though, I believe. Oh, no, not with Inspire Roar. Inspire Roar, it's any card that's free. So that does include Prepare the Way, so... I think Irulan's going to get the Spice of Slow. It's going to finish on 8 points. And Staban is going to lose this alliance, I imagine. She does have to get the Spice back, it should be noted. That's the only problem with Margot. I guess she's going to go Imperial Basin to get the Spice back. And apparently that's where Staban was going to go with Covert Operation. Guess so. What are you going to do? But yeah, this is yeah. Been a bit of a weird game to watch back. Again, it's one I wish I'd been around to be able to cover for, but at this point, it was like 3 in the morning. It'd gone 3 in the morning, at least by this point. This game's been going on for like about an hour and a half. Like, you know, what am I going to do? Highliner is for Staban. Not really anything to do. Does force a discard from his opponents. That makes Margot's life a little bit more awkward. I wonder... Ooh, Margot doesn't have... Margot's going to have to go High Council now, I think. I think she has to spend... she's going to have to use Mark Opportunity to get High Council going. And she does have the Spy up there, of course, so she can pull a card and then hope that she pulls something so she can go back to Imperial Basin to, as it turns out, get the free Spice that, you know, she shouldn't have, but... I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, Imperial Basin has, like, was a tipping point. I think Margot probably would have won this match either way. But it's definitely making life easier. That's for sure. But then you could argue, if the Spice isn't there, that she's not going to steal this alliance, and if it comes really close between Staban and Irulan, I don't know. These things happen in board games. It happens when you play in real life. People make mistakes. It happened in the North Carolina Invitational. I don't know the exact details, but there was a spot where someone thought that the game was over or something like that, or that something had happened, and the table thought that for most of the round, or like more than a round, and then they realized that it was wrong. It was like they had the incorrect points marker, and so players played the round differently than they would have done, and that was a bit unfortunate. These things happen, you know, when they, you know, and again, like, unfortunately, CJ was unavailable, and, you know, these are all experienced players, especially Alpha, Dino, and Che. They've played more this game than I have, that's for sure, so... So, mark opportunity it is to High Council. Not High Council. Imperial Privilege. Oh, Imperial Privilege. Wow, this is a bit bold, this. Wow. And they just nailed... They figure because they can draw 2 cards rather than just going High Council. I think I would have just gone High Council, by the way, there. I don't know if that was... I think that was a little risky. It was a bit more... I was a bit greedy. Picks up... I think that's... There's distractions. You put in 3 troops. You can get a spy wherever you want. Doesn't matter. I think I would have just gone High Council. I think that was the safer way to play that, by the way. That was a little dangerous. I could have gone wrong. Especially when you're, like, pretty clearly ahead and you've got an endgame point as well. Like, as long as you get to 11, like, I'd be fairly confident 11 points is enough to win the match here. Not much for Alpha to do here. Really. Reset station. Just get dudes in. He'll be a bit perturbed by the fact that Staban has obviously pumped in troops here. Don't know why he's adding those extra troops and he's getting a little carried away from himself here with Stilgar. That's what he's thinking. He's thinking Stilgar is what's going on here. A little bit carried away. Goni just has to win this without spending any cash, which shouldn't be too hard. He's still not found Highlander access. Not going to be able to get there anyways. In fact, we're at a point where Alpha is actually struggling to just win this fight outright, but he has got Stilgar and whatnot, so he might just muscle his way over the line here anyways. But Staban's sitting there now with some swords. Staban needs to win this fight, by the way, realistically, to have any shot of trying to get to 2nd place here in the runner-up playoffs game. Otherwise, Irulan's going to probably get there. Irulan's just going to go Assembly Hall, I assume, to get the Spice Must Flow and get to 8 points and just close their eyes and hope they're good. They find Devour, which is 4 swords. That is where Staban wanted to go as well. 2, 4, 6. Oh, yeah, that was his Spice Must Flow. I mean, you just go Arakeen with your spy then and just double draw. You know. Obviously, he was hoping to keep the swords there. Maybe find an intrigue that might have been of some use, but, you know, what are you going to do? But yeah, so I'm definitely, you know, I assumably when this is playing, I'm hopefully sat in chat here. We've obviously been doing these premieres for these matches. It's been interesting. And now, past BlackShadow is curious to know what you guys have made of this game over the course of this one. As I said, I don't think this game has covered itself in exceptional glory. But I do think once Marga got hold of both Steersman and Strike Fleet, and once they top-decked Strike Fleet in the last conflict, like, that was kind of GG. And there's not really a whole lot you're going to be able to do about that. And they will be through almost certainly here to the Grand Finals. Some going on their debut competition to make the Grand Finals here. Apparently Uprising, easy game. I do feel like she's perhaps been helped by her competition a little bit. Staban in 4th was a pretty liberal pick. I'll go as far as saying that. It was a pretty liberal choice. Dinosaur, I think, has been a bit unlucky this game. I think it's actually played fairly solidly, but just hasn't... When you play Irulan, you kind of have to... What's what we're looking for here? She's getting ready for Reset Station or something, I guess. I don't know. Irulan, Melga might not even play here. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I think Irulan, you know, when you plays her, like, you just got to play fairly solid, keep the pack, and wait for a chance to appear for you to exploit. And it just hasn't really turned up. Like, I've not really seen a whole lot that Irulan could have done differently this game. There's been some wackiness. The Steersman steal was absolutely brutal for green. And, you know, while they got hold of Long the Fighters, they've never used it. They've only been able to reveal it. So that's been brutal. No hooks either. Not going to do much with conflict this game. So they've been a little bit a victim of circumstance. I do think Blue has played well, but has also run well. Finding Steersman off that draw was pretty disgusting. And is gonna get the job done here. Stilgar does not play, is not played because it's revealing for 8 persuasion, because there's 3 other Fremen cards out there. But the problem now is that they don't win the conflict. Yeah, put in the spy, you can just do it manually, it's fine. Put the, that's totally fine. Not going to help him. Steban's going to win the conflict here by the looks of it. But he's going to lose this Benny alliance. And that's gonna put him out of the competition. It's gonna be Dinosaur to the run-up playoffs, unless there's maybe Steban finds an intrigue that might get him out of trouble. There are a couple. Secure Spice Trade would be a point if he gets it off the end game. That's about the only thing saving him here. He'd have to pull that, and I think that specifically. But that's going to be about it, really. You know, if you get Steersman and Strike Fleets in the same game, you're gonna win it a lot. You know, you're gonna win that match a lot. Strike Fleet Research Station, might as well. It's just constant. It's just kept top decking Strike Fleet. I mean, that's how you win games. Margot thankfully pulls Spiceman's Flow here. Which is good, because that kind of makes up the fact... Obviously, he shouldn't have the flag on Basin, but at least they pull the spice in hand, so... you know. Oh, Steban thought to take his Spice's Flow point. Oops. Not going to deny him that. That'd be too cruel. So Gurney's is not going to win the fight. Steban's going to win it, but he's only going to get a point out of it. It's not happened for Alpha at all. But Margot Fennering, Terra Sasha will be through to the grand final on the 30th. No, not 30th, the 23rd. I got some busy weekends coming up, kids. You know, I'm getting old. I need like a calendar or something. I've got one on my phone, but it's like, you know, could do with like one on paper. Then you got to put a nail in the wall, and that's effort, everyone. Anyways, Irulan will inspire Raw to get whatever card they want. And that will be enough for a Spiceman's Flow. So that's going to get them to 8 points here. They will get the Spiceman's Flow. I mean, they don't have to reveal yet. He's Inspire Raw. I mean, that's how that works. But yeah, mercifully, Margot picks up the spice, the loose spice here to steal the alliance. He definitely has a worm. Yellow is blind. Anyways, blue wins it. And we'll be through to the grand final. And unless Steban can find, specifically, I think, secure spice trade. I think that's about the only thing that keeps him in here. Gurney a little unlucky to lose the fight. Oh yeah, yellow wins, so there's no intrigue to be had here. And that's going to be all for this one. So while the players having a bit of a chat here, I'll let this play out here. Confirmation that indeed the Terralord, Terra Sasha, will be going through to the grand final to be playing against the Heretic, SVE Creep, and Joe MB for the championship match. And it will be the Dinosaur who squeaks from the Spice tie breakthrough to the run-up playoffs. They'll be playing on the bounce. You got Franked and Bob Lob Law for that match, and the cash prize available for there as well. Yeah. I don't really have too much else to add here. I'm sure chat has been pretty busy in this one from you guys, and it's obviously appreciated for us. You know, interested to see your thoughts on it's gone down. Again, unfortunate some of the things that did, and I will be having some words with the players in a moment in past BlackShadow land to let them know of the things that I've seen and that I'm not particularly happy about it, but you know, the table's gotta realize this, and you know, hopefully this can be a learning exercise for everyone involved. You know, this tournament, when we put this together, was a bit of a trial competition. We're trying some bits and pieces, and obviously the mod has seen some tweaks over the course of the run of it as well. But I think that this has highlighted a couple of things that maybe could be improved upon. So, you know, that's the way it goes. But anyways, other than that though, I do think Terra's played very solid and did what they had to do, even with the little bonus they had ultimately in the end. But what are you going to do about that? And I do think that they probably were the deserved winners of this game. Dinosaur, I think, probably played well enough to get second. We'll feel maybe a little bit aggrieved they didn't really have any particular opening to try and win this match, but I think they played pretty solid. Gurney became very reliant on combat to get there, and it didn't really turn up. You know, lost quite a few by very, very small margins, and, well, when he takes the Barntuick in fourth position on a row with no legitimate faction access, you're always rolling the punches. And, you know, it was a credible performance, but probably just took too many chances and was kind of trying to hope to spin their way through to a grand final. Maybe they could have taken a much more sort of consistent option. Like, you know, if you think they'd have played what they did, but just played, say, like Fade Ralpha, they probably would have done better than they did. But, you know, that's their prerogative. They went for it. And it proved for a... not a dull game by any stretch of imagination, but, you know, if someone is going to pick you off when you don't get the draws you need and take advantage of you where you can, so not a huge surprise in that response. But regardless, that's going to do it for us here for the match as well. So all that remains now is the final two games, the run-up playoff on June the 22nd, Saturday, and then the grand finals on Sunday, June the 23rd. We'll be crowning our first ever Uprising champion. Might argue there's some names in the grand final list that I didn't expect to see, truthfully. It has been a tournament of a lot of upsets, and maybe that's kind of sums up Uprising in a nutshell. But this is always going to be a bit of a wild west of a competition. It has definitely appeared to be that way. Both those games will, of course, be live on Hidden Assets. They'll be covered by myself as well as CJFM. So keep an eye out for that. We'll circulate the times for those games precisely once they have been confirmed. But other than that, we hope you guys, as far as the recorded games, hope you've enjoyed the competition on the whole. It's been interesting to cover this tournament. We knew it was going to be funky in the original part, but it's proved a lot of interesting games for sure. And I think we've learned a lot about the state of Uprising over the course of this. Curious to see what comes out in the two grand final games. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you all in the finals.